From a workshop in Bordeaux to Ultimate Fields worldwide, Force Ultimate creates custom gear with care. Locally made, low impact, built to perform. No outsourcing, no shortcuts, every piece crafted in-house by skilled artisans. Built to withstand every dive and sprint, this gear is as tough as your game. Your sport, your team, your Force. Why choose Force? Exceptional quality, eco-friendly production, and every kit is designed with your team's identity in mind. Force Ultimate, built to perform, made to last. Gear up now at forceultimate.com.
And I think even as a D-line, if you're not necessarily getting breaks, if you're keeping the opposition offense out there continually in these hot, tough conditions, then you feel like that will take its toll eventually, and the wear and tear will come through as the game ticks on.
So Italy definitely favourites in this matchup, has to be said. They did beat them 14-13 and 15-9, but those results don't matter. Diddly squat right now. And yeah, it is hot out here, and that's going to be a challenge for both teams. Certainly was in the last bronze medal game, as people started to look really tired out there.
Yeah, north of 30 degrees at the moment in Trnava. So you really do have to, I think, be willing to rotate through lines and give players more breaks than perhaps you otherwise would. I know it's a bronze medal match and you're desperate to win, but especially I think at the junior level, you have to put the health of your players first. And sometimes, I think as players as well, you're sometimes the worst judge of when perhaps you need a break. Deskur to Gerus, and now Jastrzębski. Deskur again. Haas on the far side, excuse me. That is, in fact, EYUC. Haas is on the near side as a wing option here. She might get it off this swing. Instead, the bespectacled Gerus bounces it through the centre. Now wide to Haas. And looking downfield, the disc pops off her hands. Davali with the quick pick as always. Close to this near sideline. Downfield, ooh, a little bit of a slip, but Mascagni is thankfully okay to continue. Shape looking for the lead pass to Davali. I think the flow needed to go earlier because it was dismissively slapped away. Jastrzębski. Big pump fake from EYUC. Now Woods looking to pick apart this defense. Goes back to Deskur. Sending it out into space for Jastrzębski to run onto. That is floater, it is dangerous and is tipped away. The Italians looking to go deep instantly. All sorts of bodies underneath it. Davoli rises highest. Mascagni going back to Cironi. And then ripped from Mascagni to Davoli. And that is an Italian break. They draw first blood in this contest. 2-1, they lead.
Davoli looking like a man on a mission out there, skied a pack of Polish players. He just felt like he wanted it more, and he's definitely riled up for this game, and that's what the Italians need to do. They get the early break, and the water spray guns are out to cool down this D-line because they're looking hot out there now, and hot off the feet. Poland, it's been a long week, and even going into that top power pool meant you're playing against really tough teams all tournament long. You feel momentum and the odds very much with the Italians.
Certainly, on paper, the Italians are the favourites. But the game isn't played on paper, Liam. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, it's actually played on lush grass fields here in Slovakia. Really nice to have this great venue. I think the fields have held up really well. Thankfully, we've had some beautiful weather, unlike most ultimate tournaments. The weather gods have blessed us here.
Yeah, this is the first time that it's really felt like challenging conditions. It was windy earlier in the week, but I don't mind a bit of wind during a championship to test the mettle of your throwers. But now, yes, the heat is somewhat oppressive. And on the subject of the game not being played on paper, it depends. Our World Games fantasy draft might be.
We have these nations in the World Games, but
Poland have been there in the past when they hosted it in Wrocław in 2017. Italy, I think one of the nations on the rise that in future editions we might expect to see the Italians challenging to qualify. Here's Desgur with the deep shot that is skying up, and Rampazzo tips it and gets it away at the second attempt. Now picks up. There's the reset available. And using Bruni now. Fumagalli clears out. We'll say the cutting looks a little jaded, I think. Both sides clearly feeling the heat a little bit. That deep shot, obviously a miscommunication because Woods had a step on it the entire way. Got to find those reserves of energy. Hasse. Back to Woods, who reaches out with the rights to snag. Looking very far apart downfield, creating a huge underspace to attack now to Desgur, who accelerates through, being marked by Saroni. He finds Jastrzębski. Mirecka now, back to Desgur, who moved over to the O-line midway through the week with an injury to Oskar Boguszewski. And it hasn't necessarily looked like it's missed a beat. Jastrzębski now. Pick called downfield.
don't think it affected the play, so Poland retain possession downfield.
Back into the hands of Desgur. Going low, but not a problem. Woods collects for the Polish hold. It wasn't clean, but it worked anyway. 2 apiece.
Notably, the Italians still up a break, though. Poland want to try and get that back in this half if they can. I think just a forced middle there from the Italians, but I think we've seen him in the past do a zone assassin on the score, and I think you mentioned earlier him having the disc in his hands. That's what they don't want. He is definitely their strongest thrower, in my opinion, and Italy usually really good at shutting down one player by making tactical adjustments. Wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that as the game goes on.
Obviously, they have the advantage of having played each other on 2 occasions, so they do have some awareness, you imagine, of what the Poles are about at this point, and likewise the Poles will be familiar with what the Italians are up to, because as well as meeting each other twice, every game here at EYUC has been streamed, so that means that there's plenty of footage for the coaches to analyse and pore over.
Almost to their detriment. I've been chatting to a couple of the coaches and asking them they're going out for a beer, and they're like, no, I have to watch the games. And I feel like they almost have to if the footage is there.
It's available for you. It'd be rude not to.
But obviously during the day, the coaches are focused on their games. A lot of the teams in the same round or same divisions playing the same time, so I had to go back, have their team meetings, and then watch some of the footage, which is a blessing and a curse in a way for the coaching staff.
You probably have some remote coaches as well, as that one is overthrown, but Villa catches. There's a throng of bodies. Polish player hit the floor. No foul play, though, but good to see that Maria Bazan is okay. Checked in. Villa now gunning it. A player's going to go streaking open down the field, and the layout for the score. The Red Sea parted, and sailing through, leading the Italians to the promised land, Angelica Naclerio for the score.
A beautiful shot attacking the middle of the end zone. Villa has been sensational all week long, and that's not going to change here in this bronze medal game. And just a beautiful bullet to the back of the end zone. And the Italians looking good here, and you can see out of the little bag comes the water bottles. And you're going to be drinking a lot of water this week.
Oh, yes.
Considering how hot and sunny it's been.
Also because it is, of course, a juniors event. It's a dry venue in the sense that no alcohol on site, which I actually think is quite nice because sometimes at the senior levels, crowds, after they finish their game, they can get a little bit boorish.
Definitely the pub next door, or the aqua park next door isn't dry.
No, you're saying there's a bar in the pool.
I believe there's definitely a bar you can swim up to. Oh, that I thought it was drop pull there, but it had rolled previously.
Gerus finds space in the center. Woods. It's the Poles swinging around. Discour again. Poles wants the disc in his hands where he can be so threatening. He's trying to marshal his teammates into position. Hasse lost a footing again slightly, but reaffirmed herself to catch. Lovely scuba over the top to Gerus. Fieldwork, and now the put to space. Cironi closes, but not quickly enough. Cannot prevent it from going into the hands of Lena Hasse for the score. Just the one break on the board so far, going the Italians' way. The Poles, I think, have had patches in both their previous games where they were on top. Obviously, you can't get to Universe Point without doing a lot of things right. The second game, a little bit more one-sided in the Italians' favour. But you learn so much through those games against one another that these two will be, yes, very familiar opponents. So far, I don't think we've seen any real tactical wrinkles that we weren't necessarily expecting.
No, not much adjustments. I was expecting more zony looks for the Italians and some assassins, but I think it's just a battle of wills so far and a battle of energy. Been very impressed with both sides, though, throughout this tournament. I think a notable standout for Italy has been Marta Rota, and she can play O and D, and she's on the O-line now.
Yeah, they'll flex her in between depending on what they want.
Looks like a domination here. Now the deep shot.
Yeah, Benzi rolling his wrist around it. What a take from Mattia Gelli. He can be a human highlight reel at times, and he rises highest in between two Polish defenders, splits the difference, and gets the goal. I'm not sure that was the most open option the Italians have thrown to this week. It worked anyway.
The man from Bologna rising to the occasion. Shout out to his ultimate hero, the great Davide Mori, who came to his school and got him involved.
I mean, that's what the Italians have done well, is taking Ultimate out of the clubs and getting it into schools, starting players young. And the Poles, to their credit, they're another nation that we might not have seen have such a strong presence at these championships, say, 10 years or so ago.
And they've had a lot of big tournaments in Poland. I think EYUC was previously in Wrocław, and you know, having those big tournaments in your nation kind of really inspires, encourages more. You mentioned the World Games.
I mean, there is no bigger tournament than the World Games. I think that was huge for just kind of leveling up the awareness and the influence of Ultimate in the Polish scene. Yes, EYUC in 2019 was in Wrocław, JJUC in 2022, multiple-time EUCF host as well. And, you know, not just there as well, but seeing like spring and summer tours in Warsaw. We were in Gdansk for EBUCC. So more and more Poland's becoming a fixture on the Ultimate calendar. And a very welcome one. Hasse underneath to Woods. Just a match defense this time. from Italy. EYUC slashing towards the far sideline. Not the option, instead it's going to be Marecka. Garagnani putting on the force. It's Marecka, bounces it back with Descour. Now the bid comes in. Not sure it got the disc, but it got the block. Davili jogs back to collect, and he's gonna gun it, looking towards the back of the end zone. A hell of a battle. Descour got the inside track and palmed it out the back.
Descour will not be denied that block, keeping his team in this game.
And there's a reason why they like to use Davili on the D-line to start, because he is a shooter, and shooters got to shoot. And those are not necessarily the sort of shots you want your O-line taking, but on the D-line, you give them a bit more license because you trust them to get it back. This time it's the drop from Hasa that will give the Italians possession once more, close to the end zone. Looking for a backfield option. Davili playing the short game with Bruni. And then pinning it down that far sideline. Margherita Salvinini with another Italian break and the 5-3 lead. We wondered how the Italians would respond after that Universe Point heartbreak this morning. So far, they seem to have allayed any fears fans at home may have had.
They're just a really good side, Benji, and
True.
again, good offense outside the end zone. There we see the block from earlier. Davoli, not afraid to send it. It's maybe not the matchup you want to hit there. This better outside the end zone. Just creating some flow and well finished off in the end. And it's going to be a tough day at the office for Poland unless they can get some breaks back before half.
The Resident Evil umbrellas coming out to provide shade to the Poles. So far, the Italians not having it all their way, but have grabbed those 2 breaks to certainly wrestle the initiative. And I think that's a lot of what this Italian team is about. It's about that initiative. You see it with their D-line. When they get the disc, they pick it quickly and they look to go deep quickly as well, trying to take that advantage of you perhaps not being ready to flip the switch from offense to defense.
And their score has been really impressive. I think you told me, Benji, that he's going to be playing at the World Beach Ultimate Championships or World Beaches in Portimao.
Yes.
The Poland Open team.
I believe that is correct. I'm happy to be corrected, of course, always am, but it was part of the Solaris side that won gold on the beaches in the Open Division in Gdansk. So often the nearly men, the Poles on the beach, but finally getting the job done. And yes, my understanding is that the bulk of that team is going to be the Polish side that we see at the party in Portimao in November.
The Czech women still hanging around the field, celebrating their bronze medal victory. That was a Universe Point game. Not sure if we'll see the same here, but
I wouldn't say no if you offered it to me.
We've had a number of really great Universe Point games today.
There's something about this time of the tournament, you know, when the medals are at stake, that everything really ramps up and that extra intensity is palpable.
There is a party later on today. It's obviously alcohol-free as this is a juniors competition, but I think there will be a DJ in the tournament tent. Should be a bit of fun.
You going to throw some shapes?
Absolutely not. I'd feel awkward at the juniors party, but I think there might be coaches and commentators party somewhere else. Pool party, maybe.
Hey, speak your own truth, Liam. Manifest your destiny. That's what the Poles are trying to do, and they're trying to manifest that bronze medal. The Italians sticking with the match defense. Woods with plenty of steps underneath, goes back to Jastrzębski. High release, and it flicks off the fingers of Miriam Gruszecka. Davali to pick up once more. The Polish timeout to try and steady the nerves might not have worked. Fumagali's airing it out. I think the edge might take this close to the sideline, and the pressure from Diskur and the angle of the throw was enough to make sure that it will be back in Polish hands.
I don't mind the deep shot from Italy, but they can't keep testing the score. I think clearly the best player for Poland, and he's made that recovery block twice. I think look for someone else deep and take the score out of the game.
Diskur trying to clear it out deep. Low throw, that's well handled. Down the line to Woods, who so often anchors the offense. That's not a great look, though. Curling and ending in Polish hands somehow. I thought the defender was all over it, but it really nestled into Gruszecka's hands, and then the simple flip to Diskur. Incredible focus from the Poles to get the muddy hold.
The throw looked high and hopeful, but well held on to in the end. The score backed up the play and was able to get the easy goal in the end, but living on the edge here, Poland.
Yeah, certainly the Italians are forcing those throws to go into tight windows a lot of the time. Players who aren't wide open, so you've got to be so precise with the location of your throws. Lovely as well seeing the scenes between the Czechs and the Belgians after that bronze medal match. I mean, it's such a tough game for both sides, which I thought was played in very good spirits. And yeah, just seeing the two teams exchange jerseys, hang around together. This is what tournaments like this are all about. There's those bonds you forge, not just with your teammates, but with your opponents as well. And I'm sure those are friendships that will be revisited throughout the ongoing seasons.
And the Polish side have manufactured some hats out of boxes to provide some shade on this near sideline. Bit unusual.
I mean, whatever you can do to keep the shade away. And I think the Polish coach just had a miscommunication about the gender ratio. Four male, three female matching athletes on this point. So male matching puller for the Poles. Italian offense back out on the field. Fabrini is often the straw that stirs this Italian drink. Trying to shape one out to Villa, who lays out in immaculate fashion as always. Been so impressed with the performance of Giulia Villa this week. Naclerio now. Showing the backhand, firing the backhand. Defender bids, doesn't get there.
And like a game of bumper cars in the back of the end zone there. A few players ending up on the ground.
But the disc ending up in Italian hands for the goal.
There is a call.
I did see goal signaled from some of the players.
It looks like it will be a goal. There's a bit of contact there, but I think just a bit of a hospital pass that could have went anywhere. I don't think it was reckless play by anyone involved. They're all just going for the disc, just a bit of a pylon in the back corner.
We can see it now on the replay that there's a little bit of float on it, and that always does tend to lure defenders in. It's Naclerio who puts the disc out into space. The first player bids and doesn't get there. And then you can see the collision there at the back. But it seems that everyone's okay, which is the main thing. Maybe that's a throw where earlier in the week you nail it, but You know, with the hot conditions today, trying to rebound from those semi-final losses, the execution's a little bit off.
So commanding lead now for the Italians. They came out in defense as well, so they'll be starting the second half on offense. If they can carry that little mini break in, it's going to be a massive hill for Poland to climb.
Yeah, a couple of mini breaks at that. The Poles looking to close the gap here as they come out on offense. Geddes picks up and finds Diskur. Woods now with Geddes charging off deep. They've got an option in the centre, which they find. Gruszecka trying to hook up with Morecka, but the throw is low. And the Italians collect it off the grass. Sat up beautifully into space for Mironi. Faking the backhand. A lot of conviction in it. That is dangerous with a couple of players in the same space, and Woods charges through. Jastrzewski picks up and thinks about the hammer, but I don't think he thinks about it for a particularly long time. Diskur trying to attack the mark and then sees the face mark of Mascagni and floats it towards the side. Morecka looking back for Diskur.
This force middle proving difficult for Poland, and now a nice block in the lane.
No surprise to see the Italians rush to pick it up, and they're going to gun it downfield. It's going to require a chase. And it was a willing runner, but the disc refused to sit.
Looked catchable initially when it came out of the hand. Perhaps it would have been catchable on day one of the tournament. Now, the final game, after some long battles, the legs can be a little bit sore.
Very sore, I think. In fact, Woods, full credit for going for the bid, because if he was going to collect it, it was going to be so low to the floor at an acute angle. And it thunks off the ground. Bruni. With a centering option, Fumagalli. Mascagni showed that the deep maybe was an option, although not keen to pull the trigger on this occasion. Still count riding. Salvanini, did she get it off in time? She did not. Stall out accepted.
It was definitely high in the stall out, and yeah, and accepted on this occasion.
Yeah, to borrow a NFL metaphor, a good coverage sack there. Pick called early in the possession. They were able to slot it in. I don't know whether it will stand.
I think it was a pick. I think Cerrone was coming in to cover there, but obviously he was not the matchup. Yeah, you can see the replay there, definitely a pick. Cerrone doing well to try and recover anyway, but I think this one will go back.
The question is, if Cerrone couldn't get there, would the other defender?
Looking at that replay, it was definitely a pick, and I feel she needs to have the right to attack it anyway.
Yes, she may not have got there, but she would have had a chance to play.
I get the feeling this one's going to go back. I understand maybe what the Polish are trying to say, which was what you said earlier, was she's going to get there, but I think she called it quite early when she was closely guarding the receiver.
Yeah, discussion becoming slightly protracted.
I feel like I know what the resolution is going to be as well. What could be? Is it a goal?
It
It's
is.
a goal. Not the expected outcome from me, but good spirit from the Italians.
Not the first time today we've had a call that's felt like it's dragged on and there's only going to be one result, and then the result you get is actually not that result.
Let's look at some of the turnovers early in this point. That was a great run-through block on the reset. Their defense has been good, Poland.
And their O-lines had to be out there so much longer. And in these hot conditions, that is going to be so sapping. But important there that they were able to firm on for the hold. And stay within touching distance, because this Italian side can put the foot down and accelerate away from you.
There we see the cardboard umbrella being sported by the Poles. Don't know if it's a trend that's going to catch on here.
I'm just a little bit curious because I felt like at the start of the week there were more umbrellas for the Poles, some of which have disappeared.
You're saying they've lost the Poles for the umbrella? Is that what you're saying?
No?
There's no Poles in those boxes anyway.
Ball floats. Benzi still wants to take it high, just about squeezes that past the first Polish defender, who's overcommitted, but they can't really put the foot on the trigger. Benzi jacking it deep, and Rota that time was boxed out. Good work by the Polish defender. Looks like
for Poland to breathe some life back in this game. If they get a break here, that'd be massive for them.
it was Rizna coming up trumps for the Poles. Can they earn back one of those breaks? Senicic to make a tough high grab. And just about squirms her way free in the reset space. Rizna now, having got the block, trying to help the Poles march downfield.
Here comes a big old buttery biscuit. It's going to be hotly contested.
And it's tipped, but only into the hands. Got a little too far underneath it. And now floated to the end zone for the score. Arms waving in the air, so I wonder if there's been a pick. Looks like it is going to go back to the throw here for Wasovic. Senicic struggling to find space on the reset. Neclario gets a hand involved. What a throw downfield, leading her into space, pulling the trigger. I'm not sure Benzi's going to be able to milk it in. He's going to try the long jump, and it does come off. The Italians just about hang on to the hold.
Poland were knocking on the doorstep of their first break. Looked like it was in on one attempt, but end up coughing it up, and Italy waste no time. 2 passes in the other direction, and they're in the end zone. As we see it here, great touch throw between the 2 female matching players, and again, another one to continue the flow. And that heartbreaking for Poland. You felt like if Poland had got that break and tied it up, they could see themselves in a Galaxy point situation and really back into this game, but momentum back with the Italians now, and they're in the driver's seat chance to break for half here.
Polish O-line back out on the field for female through male matching players, so female puller.
And you know, this is heading into the late afternoon. It's still so hot out here, Benji. It's really zapping the energy from, I think the sideline's a little quieter than we've seen it all week long. I think it's because people are trying to seek some shade.
Yeah, it is baking, and you can see all the fans on the sidelines clustered into those little pockets of shade provided by the not particularly tall trees. And it's not just tiring for the players, but also for the support staff and supporters. There's the deep shot, looking for Woods at the back of the end zone. Little penguin waddle in celebration. It's exactly what the Polish offense would have wanted. Yes, they weren't able to break the Italian O-line, but they pushed them hard. And then to get a clean hold there, it's so important because it gets your O-line off the field and puts the Italians back out there. Liam has temporarily commandeered one of the misters that were given to teams. And I have to say, it is very welcome. Most refreshing.
I needed a bit of a miss there, Benji. It was I was starting to overheat, and yeah, one of those mist guns, pretty good.
Honestly,
Keep it cool.
I get it. I get it. I mean, I didn't need to experience it to get it, but I'm not complaining by any stretch of the imagination.
Some misty boys in the booth right now. I'm going to the water park after this.
No ifs or buts. It's like straight in there. Have you got your swimmers on yet? Or you just have to go back and change?
Got to grab my Speedos. We are in Eastern Europe.
It's the done thing. When in Little Rome, I guess. Block on the underneath pass. A break for the Poles would take us to Galaxy Point. Senicic to marshal the D-line offense. Roziak. Trying to find Woods, who they've crossed over. And oh, he pops this throw up looking for Descour. Calls the foul. Gelly thought he got the block cleanly, but Descour disagreed.
It was definitely a hospital pass situation anyway.
Yeah, not a great throw.
Asking a lot of Descour in that situation.
Can't quite see it from that angle.
And Gelly got up first, but did he initiate contact? I'm not so sure. Great defensive effort. It's going to be debated for quite some time.
Yeah, I see why the call is made.
I'd probably call it a block, in my opinion. I'm not sure unless he's maybe calling a strip. Hard to know with the same hand signal, but
I don't think he ever had full control of it. In the end, they're just going to contest it and send it back. This time, Woods, I think, will probably shelve the offhand for a little bit. Senicic trying to squirrel her way free. The poaching defender doesn't get there in time. The Poles have their first break. And we've got ourselves a Galaxy Point, Liam.
fantastic for Poland. They have the ability, they have the audacity to get the breaks. Be massive if they get another one now, because Italy will be receiving the next 2 pulls no matter what. So Poland would really love to score at this point.
Get us back on serve going into the second half. Because as you mentioned, if the Italians hold, they receive coming out of the half, and they could open that advantage back to 2. Not for free, but certainly putting it in their favour. Disappointed we didn't get given one of those misters in like a media pack.
I'm happy to steal it from the children, though.
It's like taking candy from a baby. Is that what they're making in the big tower over there, actually?
If you actually look at the very top of that tower, Benji, you will see there's a VO on top of that. That was put there just last week in order for us to place all our VO cams on.
I knew it. It's actually the tower of a sugar refinery. We've got a little bit of local insight.
It's got kind of a Lord of Ringsy vibe, doesn't it? One of those 2 towers in the second book.
Oh yes, the one tower. I remember it. Cironi underneath. Neclerio. Villa clears through as the disc goes back into the hands of Negozio, and now looking downfield, Cironi remonstrates with his teammates. Villa to Gelli. Negozio activates. Trying to stretch it out into space. Nice one-handed take. Negozio pops it up. Cool as you like. The Italians seemed entirely unbothered. Clearly not believers in the Galaxy point. They march it down for the hold, and the 8-7 halftime lead up a break.
Guardians of the Galaxy point. This Italian O-line. I think they crossed over some players there. Cironi usually out there on defense, but brought him on to seal the deal and take half here. Really important point. They'll be going back out on offense as well. So Poland are going to have to break twice to win this game.
Yeah, work to do for the Poles. A couple of breaks required in this second half. The Italians in the driving seat at the moment. 8-7 then. Italy up in this mixed bronze medal match. EYUC 2025. Don't go away.
great. They're awesome games. This one is just a little bit flatter, like it is. I'd be surprised if any don't win it. Damien, 30 seconds. Yeah, head to done.
EYUC, the European Youth Ultimate Championships 2025, live from a sweltering Slovakia. We are live in Trnava, Little Rome as they call it, for semi-final and bronze medal action. All the semi-finals wrapped up this morning. This afternoon it's all about the bronze medal matches. Women's already decided. The mixed bronze medal match in progress. Second half about to get underway here. Italy up 8-7 and receiving to begin the second stanza of this contest. I'm Benji Rees. That's Liam Grant. Liam, what do you see happening in this second half?
Well, this is a crucial point, Benji. If Italy can punch us in, they get the 2-goal cushion. You'd expect them to do so, considering how strong they've been all tournament long.
And it could have been more. That they did give up a break back to the Poles at the end of that second half. But they're already verging on the red zone here. Fumagalli can't get free. And they just about squeeze it past Descour. And then Fumagalli, or not Fumagalli, it seems to be Fabrini, finishes it in to Benzi for the score. It was a long old stall count, but did well to stick with it and eventually find Fabrini, who finds the scoring pass.
Yeah, Fabrini having a good old battle with the score. I think the score might have shut him down on 3 or 4 cuts there, but that must have been around the stall 9 mark. Gets free and able to continue momentum down the field, and that is the clean hole to give him the 2-point cushion. And still a lot of ultimately played, but makes it very difficult for Poland to fight their way back into this one.
I mean, these two sides have met twice already this week, and both games went in the Italians' favour. The first on Universe 14-13, the second more decisive 59, the final score. So far, this looks like being somewhere in the middle of those, unless the Poles can dig up something from the reserves that the Italians maybe do not expect. Any last wrinkles you've got defensively, any big plays you need to bring them out now.
Rebecca Rampazzo with the pull for Italy. Been impressed with her all tournament long. Woman from Padua. And yeah, really excited for that mixed final tomorrow as well. That'll be Hungary and France in that one.
Yeah, those sides have met each other twice. And so far, they've split the series 1 apiece.
Nice isolation play to kick things off.
Yeah, the talismanic Woods. Back to Descour in the backfield. That's that little tick where he holds the disc in his offhand for a bit. Mirecka. Not finding anything she likes downfield, so resets. What can Woods do? Putting it out, sitting it into space. Jastrzębski. arcing it down the sideline for Discour. Davily turns around, frustrated that the force couldn't hold. But the throw was beautiful, and there was nothing the defense could do.
Nice, clean hold from Poland. Really like the structure of their offense. Isolation play to kick things off, and then just took the right decisions and looked at the resets when they needed to. The elevator backhand, arcing into the end zone. And you see the little circus celebration showing off his tumbling skills.
Yeah, throw not as easy as he made it look as well. At least it hasn't been for me.
I think now is the big challenge for Poland, is getting breaks and getting 2 of them. They've got 1 already, so they've shown they can do it.
Yeah, you've got to manage not just your opponent, but the conditions as well, because it is baking north of 30 degrees here. Nary a cloud in the sky in Trnava. And it's been warm all week. You know, it's not been cold by any stretch. You know, around the mid to low 20s, but yeah, it's definitely kicked up a notch today. And I'll be honest, I'm struggling slightly. I'm not built for these sorts of conditions. Pool lands out of bounds. Fabrini will brick it. Liam applies the sunscreen. A wise man once told me you've got to burn to turn. Don't know whatever happened to that. I think probably what happened to that was too many sunburns.
Yeah, with the mullet, I've been getting my ears burned recently, which is one of the downfalls of the mullet.
One of many downfalls. Yeah, important to protect yourself from the elements, whether it be wind, rain, or, yes, the heat and the sun. Something these two sides will have to combat next year as well, when World Juniors is back in Logroño. Gunned through. How they found the window, I do not know, but it's always open if you throw it hard enough, I guess. And Fabrini zips it into the hands of Niclerio for the score.
So no turnovers so far in the second half, which suits the Italian side. They're happy to go through the motions. Hitting double digits now. Shout out to all our volunteers who've been working so hard this week. They've done a fantastic job. Really turned out in numbers as well. It can be hard sometimes to get people out, but they've been enjoying themselves. We've been enjoying ourselves.
I must say, I have been really enjoying myself. I think it's been a superbly run event. First time. It's not my first time in Slovakia. Flew in and out of Bratislava when EYUC was in Győr in Hungary 6 years ago. But first time actually here on a basis of more than a few hours. Very much enjoyed having a gander around Trnava over the past couple of days. Friendly people, beautiful city, great weather. And, you know, compared to some of the sites we've used in Western Europe, it's a fair bit cheaper as well, which certainly helps. And it makes travel for a lot of these Central Eastern European sides a lot more feasible, which is great. And that's not a shot at Limerick, don't worry, Liam. Very much enjoyed going there, and hopefully going back next year for WUCC.
See about that.
That time, Discour tries to squeeze it through, but it was well read and well intercepted by Salvanini.
What a forehand from Salvanini as well. Just a little touch up the line. Doesn't have to be a hawk. You can just lead your player downfield. Travel called, I think.
Yep. Stays with Cironi. He's looking to try and find the inside lane, but it's not there, so just down the line. Will Bruni force it? With the stall rising, he might have to, no. Turns and looks at his reset. Finds Fumagalli. Maybe a bit of a miscommunication about the force by the Poles. Cironi back to Bruni. And now Cironi once more catches a disc behind him. Poles forcing backhand towards this line. Tossed and bobbled and dropped by Fumagalli.
He almost caught it about 5 or 6 times there. If that was an audition for the circus, he would have not got the job.
I was going to say, I don't think he'd have passed the audition. At least not as the juggler. Jastrzemski absolutely gunning it, and it's right into the hands of Mirecka. She's turning now to look forwards towards the back of the end zone. A heartbreaker for the Italians on the end zone line, and they had it once, twice, 3 times. No, it wasn't quite to be. And then in essentially 2 throws, the Poles go right the other way for the score.
I like the deep shots from Poland. They had to be accurate on the second occasion, and they were. And they needed to score those, stay within touching distance. I know not much between the two sides, but he's not going to get a lot of breaks off this Italian. You can't plan on going for a 4-0 run to win the game. I just don't see that happening. You got to kind of tap away at them, get a break here and there back, and they need to find the answers, the Polish side.
Yeah, and they need to find them sooner rather than later, ideally.
There's a good pace through this game, though.
Yeah, just over an hour gone on the clock, so we could well reach the 15 score limit. Feel like there's a lot of pink bodies and faces out there who have probably caught the sun this week. Villa back to Fabrini. Scoobering into space for Ravasio. Ravasio, oh, that's low and flat. I don't know if they can get it. I don't know why I ever doubted it when it's for Terragelli on the end of it. Gelli turns around and claps the hands because he knew it was on the money to Giulia Villa for the score.
That was a low chest high kind of hawk to Gelli. Difficult one to get right, but he's got legs and speed.
I guess the thing is as well that because the offense was well spaced, there wasn't a lot of traffic in the midfield that could get in the way. It was just about finding the angle past the defender.
About 27 minutes left on the clock right now. This game does have good pace. Italy just 4 goals away from winning it, so I think this might get to 15.
Yeah, I think it well might. Which, given it's been a long week, given you've got to pick yourself up from the disappointment of the semi-finals, bronze medal game is always difficult to pitch emotionally and mentally. And sometimes these games can be a bit of a grind with sides who are struggling to maybe find their best form. But yeah, I think admittedly it's strong offensive conditions, but for both sides to be playing so well this deep into the tournament in what is always a tricky fixture is a real credit to them.
You can see the Belgian Open boys warming up a little far away from the fields. That'll be the final bronze medal match. Belgium Open versus
France?
France, that's the one. Thanks for getting me there, Benji. It'll be Italy, Germany in the Open final tomorrow.
It's all right, it's been a long week, Liam.
I was looking around for someone else warming up, and I couldn't see them, so...
No, a lot of teams were warming up in the stadium elsewhere on the complex, which has meant that teams tend to arrive here at the showcase pitch only about 10 minutes or so before the game, which normally fine, but tricky for us. We're trying to get our little bits of research in with the acrobatic effort at the second attempt, but it refused to stick. Negozio to Rampazzo has a little scan around to make sure that it's clear. See, taping on both her thighs. Clearing through Negozio now. With the hammer, all this is going to helix a little bit. It's a tricky one. And Descoeur always in position to swat it away.
That's 3 times now the Italian D-line have sent it deep to the person being marked by the score. I think he's become the victor on 3 occasions. And I think in that situation, you got to be telling your team, hey, if we marked by the score, get out of the way. Get clear space to try and stay out of the way and let the other players get involved. But they keep testing the score. And his defense is just as good as his offense.
Yeah, timeout here then on the field. Poland looking to close the gap on the Italians, who have an 11-9 lead. Second half action from the mixed bronze medal match. Italy with an 11-9 lead over the Poles, taking a timeout on this offensive point. Setting up in a side stack. The Italians taking a very tasteful lead to poach into the open side lane. Good work on the force there to stop the initial throw going, but they will find Woods at the second attempt, and Jastrzewski was always off balance. Fumagalli raking it across the end zone. Cerrone rises highest but cannot secure. I think there's going to be a discussion here.
I don't know why the Italian D-line love throwing to the score. It's almost like they throw to him intentionally. It's bizarre. And this one may end up going back, but I almost don't like that because it's been several bad decisions from the Italians. It looks like it will be a turnover.
Turnover stands indeed. Maybe they're just trying to tire Discour out. At the moment, he's equal to every question they've asked of him defensively. And a lovely throw to spread to Moretzka to start. Woods with Cerrone making his presence felt. He finds Discour. Floater. Back to Woods on the near side. Looks like a forced middle from the Italians. Gonna have to, these defenders orbiting downfield. Woods with the offhand, a beautiful leading pass. Discour just applies the brakes though. Looking for the offhand. Cerrone dives in front. Superb read. Superb block to get it without contact. Cerrone's gunning it now. Negozio, the target, who rises and scores the Italian break.
And the Italians are pumped up right now. They had several opportunities to bang in that break. And they get it done. And they're busting out all the celebrations here. You can see they're pumped up still for this bronze medal game. And they look like they wanted more, Benji.
Well, generally, I hate the discussion of who wants it more, because I'm sure if you ask the Poles, they are desperate to win this bronze medal. But the Italians do seem to have maybe that extra bit of energy and intensity in the locker at this point in time. You know, given how the previous matchups have gone between the two, it's not necessarily a surprise, but, you know, when you've matched up against a team so much already in a tournament, you know, sometimes you do have that just mental edge in these moments, but sometimes, of course, you can be guilty of complacency, and I think the Italians deserve credit for, you know, treating the Poles, you know, with the respect that they're worth.
That was the longest point of the game so far, about 7 minutes long. So a real, I won't say momentum swinger, but maybe momentum has always been with Italy. But if Poland had got that one, that would have been really important for them. But it is a break for the Italians.
Often it feels like when you have those marathon points, the team that gets it, a lot of the time it feels like it almost counts double, because to have such a grinder and to come out on top gives you that big lift. I'm not necessarily a believer in momentum. I think it's more a narrative device that you can apply afterwards than a feeling, because how many times do you watch a big play and say that all the momentum's with them now, and then it turns out that it isn't? But certainly the Italians are on one at the moment as the ball lands at the back of the end zone. Poles have been here before, like at the very first point of the game. That time they made it stick. This time they're trying it again. Gerus with the boost. Undercooked. Great work to get the hand and disrupt it. Anna Garagni.
And you say you don't believe in momentum, Benji.
The Italians do. I'll tell you that much.
Are those that live by the laws of physics.
Now the deep shot from Mascagni, looking for Davoli. On the run, and he watches it all the way into the hands. He was going to make sure, it was never going to let it drop. And 13-9 now, is that the dagger?
And the Italians playing with the laws of physics there as they tease one into the end zone. That was a fantastic forehand. And starting to run away with this game. Looked up the definition of momentum for you, Benji. The quantity of motion of a moving body measured as a product of its mass and velocity.
Yes.
And Italy producing the goods here, both in terms of mass and velocity.
Yep, certainly they seem like the unstoppable force at the moment. The Poles are not so much an immovable object. I think a lot of the work actually for the Italians was done in that first half. They forced quite long possessions and long points for this Polish O-line, and even when they did get it done, there weren't as many clean holds. The Italians generally in that first half able to get the offense on and off the field quite quickly. And now late in the game, you know, all those extra meters built up in the legs, the lactic acid churning and coursing through the body. It's like a running back continually trying to jam it up the middle. That wears defenses down. It wears at players. Descour doesn't even want to empty it into a water bottle. He's just going to pick up the entire urn and pour it over himself. And you know what? Fair enough. It is roasting out here.
Yeah, we're pretty hot in the commentary booth. We're not the one running around after the plastic there.
I mean, honestly, the disc must be so warm right now, you could fry an egg on it. Jastrzewski to Woods, gets the little feed through. Broziak sneaks it past the Marcus Thoroni, who gambled. Good work by Bruni to cover for him. Morecka has just continued to churn underneath. What a motor she has. Jastrzewski, this time have flashed in there. Kraszewska, I think, didn't realize quite how close that defender was and was able to flash in front and get the block. Bruni now, having got the turn, can the Italians make it count? Mascagni doesn't have to launch it this time in the red zone. Cerrone loses his footing slightly but recovers. Expressive as ever. This time overthrows the reset. Jastrzemski, Rosiak beginning to eat up the deep space, but I think decided that now was not the time. Merecka again, relentless. Continuing to work and drive for the poles. Woods back to Jastrzębski. High for Rosiak, who tips it but gets at the second attempt. Great concentration. Merecka showing a high release, but putting it away, continuing to make good decisions, keeping it moving. Woods looking to shoot towards the far side. And it was caught, but I don't think it was in bounds, despite the best effort of the Polish target.
Both sides looking tired out there now. Bruni is having a great game, though, for the Italians. Seeming no rush to pick this one up.
I think both sets of players probably quite appreciative of getting a breather. Let's be real.
The Polish sideline trying to inject some energy into their team. They know it's really a do or die situation if they're to get broken here.
Not sure that cone really needed to be moved, let's be honest. It's not the most
impactful cone.
That's the one. Prominent, I think, is the word I was searching for. Rota trying to find underneath space. Stool is rising now. A low release rips it into the gut of Cironi. Underneath, Woods advances, but not quickly enough. Mascagni, who's shown he has a big forehand if he wants it, but he's going to go with the backhand this time. Cironi will try and catch up, but Merecka's in position. She tips far enough away from Cironi.
Brilliant defensive awareness. Merecka peeled off, kept her focus. Can be difficult as well when, you know, Cironi is pacing behind you to get the hand up early and swats it away.
Yeah, the D-line for the Italians has certainly been profligate with their opportunities. In a tighter game, that might make the difference. It still might make the difference here. But that slips through the hands of Gruszewska. And now put to space. This time there's no one there to stop Cironi, who catches from the space eater of Bruni. And the Italians are speeding towards the finish line. The bronze medal is within their sights, their fingertips on it at this point. One away from the podium.
I think Cironi might have thrown a little peace sign at the disc here before catching it, but we're going to look at some of the turnovers. That was Bruni with the run through D. He's still got legs left. Confusion in the reset here is what caused that Italian turn. Not sure if this is highlights or lowlights we're looking at here, but Poland almost scored this point. This is the one that just ran out of field.
Yeah, looking for Petrov Ganev.
This is the crossfield shot that was well defended. That was a brilliant block. Cironi didn't give up easy. He did get it on the final occasion, as you see here, and he did a little gesture at the disc before catching it, celebrating before the goal.
I mean,
brave thing to do.
I like the confidence. It is very funny when it doesn't work. Shout out to Brighton legend Eli Kearns, who did that at EUCF once. Went for the big old aeroplane and then spooned it against free speed. Very funny, I have to say.
Eli Kearns played with Brighton?
Yeah, he played for, he and Aaron Hahn played with Brighton at EUCF one year. One of my Sussex teammates played a season at UC Davis when Eli Kearns was there. And they made nationals, the Dogs. Kearns a key part of that resurgent revolver this season, of course. Now it's Poland's turn. to load something into the chamber and see if they can fire back at the Italians. They're going with the hammer, and it's right into the hands of Villa. Could not have been more perfectly placed. The Italians can end it. They want to end it all in one. The chase. This could be ended in the most magnificent fashion with the layout from Mattia Gelli. It is the Italians, 15-9 once more, who have captured the mixed bronze medal.
Gelli with the mic drop moment, and it's a deja vu from the Italians. The same scoreline as the last time these two teams met, 15-9. Just too good for this game. The Italian sides, the Polish team fought valiantly, but couldn't come up with the goods on this occasion, Benji.
Yeah, the manner of the semi-final defeats. For Poland, they kept it close against the Hungarians, but I think they were always the underdogs in that matchup. But the Italians had their opportunities against France and in many ways let it slip through their fingers as they went down on Universe Point. But both sides picked themselves up to make a thoroughly entertaining bronze medal match. Such a difficult match to be in as a player. And for the first 2/3 of this game, it was so tightly fought, but the Italians just had that extra gear to be able to kick onto in the end, and the Poles just could not keep up. But they should be proud here. 4th place on the continent, a very good performance for a Polish side that you can tell has a lot of athletes that have very, very bright futures.
Yeah, fair play to Italy. They brought the energy. Tough thing to do in this bronze medal game. Poland showed their worth, though. Commiserations to them. They can be very proud of their performance.
They can indeed. Well, that'll do it then. Only one more mixed game, and that is tomorrow morning, 10:50. The gold medal match will pit France against Hungary. Those two sides have played twice already this week, and both have won one each. And so that'll be a fascinating final for sure. Looking forward to bringing you that. Of course, finals day is tomorrow, starting at 9 in the morning with the women's final, France versus Italy. We mentioned Hungary versus France in the mixed final. The open final pits Germany against the Italians. But before that, we still have one more game to bring you here on the Friday. The open division, the last to play its bronze medal match. And it is France taking on Belgium. Both of those sides will be desperate not to leave empty-handed, and you will not want to miss it. From all of us here on the fields of Trnava, Benji Rees, Liam Grant, the final score here, Italy 15, Poland 9. Italy, bronze medal winners in the mixed division at EYUC 2025. And we'll see you on the other side for the open bronze medal match.
From a workshop in Bordeaux to Ultimate Fields worldwide, Force Ultimate creates custom gear with care. Locally made, low impact, built to perform. No outsourcing, no shortcuts, every piece crafted in-house by skilled artisans. Built to withstand every dive and sprint, this gear is as tough as your game. Your sport, your team, your Force. Why choose Force? Exceptional quality, eco-friendly production, and every kit is designed with your team's identity in mind. Force Ultimate, built to perform, made to last. Gear up now at forceultimate.com.